My unbiased opinion review of the Rise of Skywalker, the new Star Wars movie. I usually drink when I make these videos because, well, it's a negative experience to some degree. Also, I believe that only really smart people should drink because the purpose of alcohol is to bring you down to the average level intelligence. When stupid people drink, it makes no sense because they just become, mentally disabled. And it defeats the whole point of the shit. Stupid people should do uppers and stimulants to make their minds work faster. They should be doing cocaine. Okay, so here's my review on Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. And believe it or not, I spent some time on this. If I repeat myself at any point, it's intentional because it deserves to be repeated. Oh, and funnily enough, it also applies to the other episodes in this great Star Wars sequel trilogy. Star Wars Episode 9 and the sequel trilogy are an atrocity, arrogant, abominable, abysmal, ague, if I pronounced that right, anorexic, absurd, butchery, banal, boorish, blatant, base, a black hole, blasphemous, a betrayal, too much bickering, backward, besmirching, bastardizing, bitchy, belittling, begrudging, because they're too angry, boring, a bomb, crass, corrosive, contrived, chicken scratch, chaotic, a calamity, uncharismatic, condescending, cockless, constipated, cheating, criminal, corrupt, decrepit, dirty, deranged, derisive, disgraceful, degrading, demeaning, deceptive, disgusting, dysfunctional, despicable, deplorable, disrespectful, disconcerting, debased, a disaster, dickless, to be differentiated from cockless, embarrassing, erroneous, excruciating, excessive, eroding, I already did excruciating, exploitative, careening, fucked, fractured, foul, forgettable, fascist, failures. Well, fascistic, they're fascists, a failure, they're failures. Ghastly, gross, grotesque, gratuitous, greedy, generic. Horrific, haggard, a hoax, a hot pile of shit, horrendous, hopeless, hemorrhoidal. Harassing, watching the movie, not just their actual harassment, the movie itself feels like harassment. Haranguing, hoodwinking. Yeah, I should note that this is a review of The Rise of Skywalker in particular, and really has nothing to do with their behavior outside of the movies, behind, towards the media, towards the fans. Because their behavior has been wonderful towards the fans, I just want to say. Incompetent, incongruent, indefensible, insulting, inane, irrelevant, in error, illegal, infuriating, inferior, implosive, infantile, immature, impudent, an injustice, impotent, improper, impeachable, juvenile, lazy, lethargic, lying, losers. The characters are all losers. Leeches, yeah, the characters I'm talking about. Rey leeching off of Luke Skywalker's success and off of Han Solo's achievements. And Finn and Poe leeching off of, the template of Han Solo and all that shit. Yeah, and they made Luke a liar, so I mean it all really applies. And he was acting very juvenile for a wise old Jedi. Maggot infested, mundane, mudslinging, meandering, mistaken, misrepresenting, misleading, messy, monstrous, a mutation, a misstep, misogynistic. And I'd like to clarify misogynistic because the way they treat women is really insulting, as if the only way they can be better is just by automatically being better. What a misogynistic Rise of Skywalker I'm talking about, but also the previous ones. I'm very insulted by the misogyny because I'm a feminist. Nauseating, noxious, obtuse, obscene, oblivious. Oh, I almost forgot. Lost, confused, and oh no, I remember polluted, but I'm going to say that again later. Piss poor, a piss party, perverse, pathetic, a puke fest, powerless, passive, polluted, prostituted, pussies, passionless, primitive, prejudiced. And that relates to the whole, the misogyny, all of the disgusting views of these characters. It betrays what the writers, all of their prejudice and misogyny and racism, but we'll get to the racism later. Oh, and already, like, the racism and the misogyny and the prejudice, that goes with the word condescending, because that's part of it. When you're that insulting, you're betraying your racism and your misogyny and your prejudice. It's kind of like if you went up to, like, a woman or a black person and you said, I just want you to know, you're equal. You're not inferior. How insulting that would be. How racist. You'd be betraying your racism. Racist, resentful, rude, roach motel, retarded, sinful, starving, static, spineless, silly, stupid, sick, shit party, scam, sham, stain, scarring, scabs, shills, shameful, slimy, smut-filled, scummy, snotty, slutty, stinking, stench-filled, theft because they're trying to steal everybody's money and because they stole from the originals, terrible, tragic, transgressive, tyrannical, and we know why. Unconscious, unconscionable, undeserved, unrewarding, uninspired, unimportant, uninteresting, unimpressive, unforgivable, unrequited, ungrateful. The movie felt like a void. Weak, witless, worm-like, yucky, useless. Oh, also silly, stupid, and suspicious. Oh, and sneaky. Oh, forgive me, this is not entirely organized. I forgot inconsequential, insane, inelegant, inexcusable, impolite, and inert. So that's my unbiased review of The Rise of Skywalker. Unbiased because I haven't seen it and I'm never going to. Of course. Who would? If you like gays, click like. If you like blacks, comment. If you like women, click notification bell. If you like gay women, subscribe. And if you like gay black women, Patreon, human warnings, give me money. And I would like to take a minute to just explain to these idiots how to put an agenda in your movie. You need to make sure your movie's good. If it's good enough, nobody's going to care about the agendas. If you can have the agenda fit into the story, people will love it, even the people who don't agree with your agendas. You might even change their minds. They might even agree with your agenda if you can have it be part of the story and you can make the story good. That's the power of a story, and that's the danger of a story, is that if it's good enough, you can actually, change people's minds, make them think things. I can't think of any offhand, but I'm sure there's a movie that I love that puts down men. and talks about how they're all such assholes. And I probably am agreeing with them because, or white men, that white people are awful. If it's a good movie, it actually makes you agree with it, even if it's something that ridiculous. Okay, I'll give an example. Mary Poppins. It has a whole subplot about women's suffrage, and all of that. And I love it. It's my favorite movie. I didn't give a shit, and they're right. I think we all have sympathy and empathy for women. I don't think anybody has a problem with women having power or having the power and men relinquishing power to a degree. They certainly had enough time where they were, or people who are not white. I think they deserve their time and power. So it's fine. Like, you can't disagree with that shit. It's just when you have a shitty story that people get annoyed. I don't think anybody likes the idea of cruelty to animals. It's just that when you shoehorn it in like Miss fucking Maestro Rian Johnson did, it's just insulting. And it doesn't make any... if anything, it makes you want to kill animals. The Cove is a documentary about, like, dolphins or shark water, and your heart goes out to the dolphins and the sharks. I'll watch that if I want to see be preached to. That does it much better. And there's people who know a lot more about animal cruelty than Rian Johnson, or about women than Rian Johnson. He didn't graduate from fucking gender studies course. He's not an expert in gender studies. And I said it before, Star Wars already has an agenda, which is dictatorship versus democracy. So you got to go with that agenda with this movie. Avatar is about, destroying other cultures. But that's the central theme of the whole fucking thing. So it's understandable. You're like, okay, no problem. I've said it before. Star Trek deals with racism and inequality and shit like that. That's for Star Trek to do, not for Star Wars. Get your fucking... figure out what movie you're making. But I do have a friend that made a very good point where he said, it's a weak argument to just attack Star Wars for their gender politics and all that shit, because there's nothing wrong with gender politics and all that shit. It's better, it's stronger. If the Phantom Menace had just stuck to the fact that the movie sucks, and had just, like, ignored all of the, we're not racist, and get your gender... because they actually sort of became the villains that Star Wars painted them as. It's just much stronger to just talk about how it's a bad movie. How they're just terrible movies. Regardless, who gives a shit about the gender shit? That's plays no part at all in the fact that the movie sucks. When Princess Leia was a badass, the reason nobody minded was because it related to the story. And the reason people minded about Rose Tico and Admiral Holdo is because it had nothing to do with the story. It also had nothing... their minding had nothing to do with them hating women. Nobody... You're flattering yourself to think people hate women that much. Flattering yourself because you think that your movie's that good that it's impossible for someone not to like it. Come on, that's like a little kid. My teacher gave me a bad mark because she's mean. Or maybe your assignment sucked. Maybe the job you did was maybe you were incompetent. You ever think maybe it's your fault, right? And I'm just as guilty as any Phantom Menace member of, becoming the very thing that they're accusing me of. I mean, just look at my extra where I'm like, if you support blacks or gays, subscribe. I'm kind of making a mockery of it, but I don't really care. I don't have anything. It's not like I have to sell tickets to my movie. And also, I'm being satiric, and I don't really care if people don't understand that. But it's very different when you're Disney and you're doing this shit. Or responding to this shit. It's almost like, who let 8-year-old kids run Star Wars? But getting back to my point about it having to be good. See, my definition of what is allowed to be you can poke fun at, right? Is that it just has to be funny. There is nothing off limits. You can put down black people all you want, as long as it's good, as long as it works, as long as they like it. But they better like it. That's all. So, nothing's off limits as long as it works. But you better make sure it works, otherwise you're going to get in a lot of trouble. There's a great thing online, you can see it on YouTube, of Lenny Bruce using the N-word like crazy in his stand-up. But the black people were all laughing their heads off, so that's why he gets away with it. But you got to be careful. Like 2 months ago, I was at a place and I'm like, I need a black. Can I take a black milk crate? And there was a black guy there, and he goes, "Why does it have to be black?" And I looked at him and I go, because I'm racist. And then he cracked up laughing. And I even said to him, I'm like, yeah, it was funny, but you gotta be careful when you make jokes like that. Because you do. And it's usually just better to avoid them. And really the same thing works with Admiral Gender Studies. If Holdo kicked ass, if she was awesome, people would love the way she shuts down Poe. But they didn't do it right. They should have made Poe being a complete asshole if she's going to shut him down and treat him like an idiot. Actually show him do something that's annoying to the audience. You know, like, I have a lot of respect for Spike Lee, even though I think he's very racist against white people. But I like the way he does it. I mean, of course he's annoying and you kind of dislike him. But you dislike anybody who's argumentative. However, you know, when I watch his movies, I'm just like, yeah, good. You should be racist. Fuck the white man. It makes me want to be on his side. Just like Malcolm X, I feel the same way. Like, yeah, who cares about the white man? I'm no expert in Malcolm X, but I'm just saying that I'll like your agenda if you do a good job with it. And it's also true that if you do a bad job of it, the people who previously already supported your agenda are going to be even more annoyed than the people who are against your agenda. Women hate Admiral Holdo and Rose Tico more than men do. Women hate that new chick in the Terminator Dark Fate movie more than men do. Black people hate, I don't know, whatever black character in recent memory sucked. Or I don't know, more than white people do. Because it sucked. They did a bad job of pushing the agenda. They failed with the agenda. They did the agenda a disservice.